In every society, there are those whose legacies we cherish and honor. Their faces, their names, looming large, sculpted and lettered, for all to see and remember. And then there are people like Ernie Wentcher, his name and his face unrecognizable to the masses, but unforgettable to those whose lives he has changed.
What should people know about him? He's a kind of larger-than-life guy.
He's a pretty interesting character. Every day that I went to work was different.
This gentleman who is almost 100 years old, he's a gentleman that made such a great difference in the lives of so many people.
He was a delightful tennis player. Anytime the ball was close to the line, he'd call it way out. So we started calling him Way Out Ernie.
He was a raconteur and very lively, funny guy. He's a great storyteller, great entrepreneur.
It's amazing his life has been so interesting. So interesting. And he never talks about himself, really. That's the other thing. You would never know any of this stuff.
And we should know, if only to gain a better understanding of how the roots of incredible generosity are nurtured and formed. For Ernie Wentcher, the story hinges on the cross-cultural influences set in motion when his German-born father took a job selling farm equipment in Siberia, where he met and married an English teacher from Ireland. Insurrectionist fervor was spreading across the country, a cause of great concern to the foreign-born Wentchers, now the parents of 2 children, Celeste and Ernest. In 1917, when Ernie was just 3, the violent eruption of the Russian Revolution put the Wentcher family on the run, their hurried eastbound escape aboard the Trans-Siberian Railroad taking them eventually to Tokyo and then to Wichita, Kansas. For young Ernest, the template had been set for a life of adventure and learning in other far-off lands. His teenage years spent in England at St. George's Prep, where he was elected president of the student body and captain of the rugby team. For college, it was the University of Brussels, where all exams were taken in French and where he became captain of the tennis team. Returning to America in 1935, Ernie landed a job as an agent for Equitable Life Insurance, quickly moving up the ranks to sales manager. World events, however, dictated another move, this time under the command of the Armed Forces, where Ernie's knowledge of Europe and various languages earned him an officer's rank in the Naval Intelligence Service and later a Commendation Award for his outstanding performance in the line of duty. After the war, Ernie returned to Chicago and his job at Equitable Life Insurance. 1 year later, in 1947, he met Beatrice Lindsay, who would become his wife of nearly 50 years until her death in 1996.
Bea, my aunt, and Ernie had no children. All his nephews and nieces were his children. He tried to help wherever he could. He, having curtailed some of his college studies because of various moves that happened in the family between Europe and the States and then the war coming on, felt it very important that everybody have an advanced education. So I will always remember him calling me one day and extending the offer, "You just pick a school and I'll pay for it." I said, "Really?"
John did not accept the money but was struck by the offer, an early sign of financial generosity that was a bit surprising to those who did business with Ernie.
Ernie's very frugal, and I think it has a lot to do with growing up in the way he did. He spent the majority of his life working hard and saving his money. And then all of a sudden he decided, instead of just make money, to do something good with money, to make a difference with his money. And that's what he's done.
As we all know, college today, at least in the US, costs beaucoup bucks, so I had to look for some funding sources.
I wanted to go to a really, really good school because I knew I wanted to do medicine. I remember playing the game Operation when I was little.
After receiving the Wentcher scholarship, it allowed me to explore my career options, and I was able to go into a research field where sometimes there isn't enough funding.
Most scholarships are from an institution to an individual. This one is really from a person to a person.
It's kind of scary, but also makes me feel good that they chose me and they believe in me and that I can succeed.
Where would I be without Mr. Wentcher's help? Would I be a doctor? I'm not sure. And I think that more than anything, he invested in me, and then now through his help, he's indirectly affected several people that, I see every day.
We've had students who are doctors, engineers, PhD. There was a student who went to Africa and developed a school. It's just a variety of different things. Even though they're young, they're already starting to change the world.
A lasting tribute to a man content in the knowledge that his unheralded contribution to humanity will stand as his monument, a living monument to all that matters in life.
He really helped people who maybe wouldn't have been able to achieve what they wanted to achieve if he wasn't so generous with us.
My dreams were pretty big and my dreams were pretty diverse, and I had a lot kind of going on, and so I think they were trying to supplement that. They saw that.
I believe, we are his legacy.
Having the trust of a man like Mr. Wentcher allows me to say, hey, how can I emulate that? How can I, if not monetarily, how can I emulate that in just my actions or my thoughts or my ways of interacting with people? And I think that definitely puts a positive impact, not only on how you view life, but also what you feel like you could do in the greater scheme of things.